Hello and welcome back to REV Endurance Sports and something a little different. And I want to make sure that this comes across in the best way possible. Usually I tune out when I go to someone's YouTube channel and they're selling a product. But, YouTube's not going to, I can't make a living on a YouTube channel. So I have a bike shop, of course, and I review products there, and then I launched my own nutrition line. So I want to share with you why I did went through all the trouble of creating a nutrition product, and then I want to take you through some of its benefits and then some of the objections I've gotten from some folks when they say, oh, I'd like to try it, but. So first things first, this is a product that I created because I use it myself. I needed a carbohydrate product that had no flavor, had no amino acids, so the BCAAs, as some of you might hear it called, has no electrolytes, has no protein, no fat, no vitamins, no minerals. It is just a carbohydrate product. And it has no flavor. And that was very, very important to me because as an endurance cyclist, and you may be of a different endurance sport, whether it be running, paddling, triathlons, or anything that is an endurance type of thing, after 2 to 3 hours, the flavor of something can just get, too much. Not to mention if it's hot, and then, the stuff in your bottles is now, gotten too hot, and it tastes horrible if it has a flavor, believe it or not. So I went with no flavor. So I created this product with no flavor so that I can control the flavor. Now, for me, when I ride, like for example, on Saturday, it was 8 hours pedal time for a 200K. I didn't want any flavor in my stuff. So this was my calorie component, and then I had an electrolyte powder that is also neutral in flavor, and I'm still developing my own electrolyte product that will be devoid of flavor. So the way I get around the flavor thing is, I use these kinds of things that are just drops. And so they are flavors that I actually like. So for example, this one's fresh watermelon. This one is mango pineapple. And this one is guava passion fruit. So that's me as a rider, endurance cyclist using this product. But also as a business owner, I hear it all the time in the shop. Oh, well, that flavor got too much, or I don't like that flavor, and lemon, lime, this. So as a business owner for this product, I also wanted it to be neutral because consumers, I hear it all the time in the shop. It's too sweet, or it's this, or it's that. So that's one of the most important things for the palate, right? Lack of flavor. Now, it's a carbohydrate, and for riding, running, whatever, you need to be taking in calories, especially as the event gets longer and longer and longer. You can fake maybe a 2-hour event or 2-hour ride. You eat breakfast beforehand, you drink water or maybe some electrolytes on the bike or whatever sport, and when you get home, you have lunch. Fine, right? But if you're out there 8 hours and then some, and then some, and then some, you need to be taking in a fuel as you're riding. Okay, so why did I not put the electrolytes in it? Well, the key thing about that was if it's cold out, you won't be sweating as much, and you just won't need as much electrolytes, right? Your muscles are still contracting. You still need the sodium, the potassium, you still calcium and all that. You still need them, but not as bad because it's not 100 degrees out, or 37, 38 Celsius. So that's why I didn't put the electrolytes in, because then I also thought, and this is the way I've done it for years as well, if I want to put more electrolytes, then I just put more scoops of electrolyte mix in there with no flavor. So let's look at it a different way. If you want to keep the same amount of fuel going all the time, so let's just say 200 calories per hour minimum, which is a bare minimum, but 200 calories per hour, and then it heats up. If your energy drink has electrolytes in it, you're going to have to drink a lot more of it because you need more electrolytes, right? Whereas you can keep the 200 calories steady every hour, but now the weather, let's say it's heated up 20, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, put a few more scoops of your electrolyte powder in there, but your calories are still the same. You're still taking in 50 grams of carbs per hour, regardless of whether you have more electrolytes or less electrolytes. So that's why I did that. Anyway, before I go too far, I do want to show you something because it is important. So empty glass, right? This is RO water. And so what I'm going to do, because a lot of folks have said, oh, I've tried this product or that product and it doesn't mix well, and it's really, I just, I have to use a blender. I think that's like the scratch thing. I have to use a blender to get it going. So instead, here's a scoop, and I wish I had someone help me. So I'm going to drop that in there. So that's one scoop, and then I'm going to put another scoop just for fun. And I'm going to mix it in with a spoon, so I'm not even going to use a fork, right? So you see it down there, and you see the water is a little bit opaque. All right, so let's see. It's 3:02 p.m. Now it's short of a pint, so short of 16 ounces. So I'm just going to mix it, and you can see it's a little bit opaque. And then we're just going to let it sit there. But you'll see, so you can't see the spoon at the moment, right? So we'll just let it sit there. And we're not going to do any editing or time-lapse photos or video or anything like that. But we're just going to let that sit. And we'll continue on with some of the objections I've gotten. One of the funniest objections I get is, do you have sample sizes? Well, sample packets. Well, sample packets cost a lot of money, so that's an issue. Individual size packets are really expensive to manufacture, produce, and then to give that out for free is a very difficult thing for me at this point in this product's life cycle. So I need to wait a little while for that to be available. So then I get, a 3-pound container. That's really going to be, it's like a risk to them. It's a big risk to buy a 3-pound container of powder because they don't know if it's going to, I don't know. They don't know if they're going to like the flavor, or I don't know what the objections are other than the fact of, that's 3 pounds, that's a lot of product. So if there's no flavor, there's nothing to not like, right? It's not like, it's lemon lime. I don't like lemon lime. And not 4 hours into my ride, I don't want to keep drinking lemon lime. So there's no flavor. So what's the other objection? Well, it's maybe too much product. What am I going to do with it all? Well, I would argue if you are an endurance athlete, so the 2 scoops, by the way, see how it's already starting to clear up? I haven't done anything. It's already clearing up. It's, not even 2 minutes. See that? Now you could actually see the spoon. See it in there? I didn't do anything different. You saw me. I didn't even use a fork. I used a spoon on purpose. So, yeah. Water's clear now, right? So when someone says, yeah, but everything I've ever bought, it just doesn't mix right, and it clumps up, and it does all kinds of weird stuff. That didn't do it, right? It's just sitting there, clear, and I didn't do anything. You saw me. No trick photography. Anyway, if you're an endurance athlete, there's 27 servings in here. When I go out for a ride, I'm using at least 300 calories per hour. So that's at least 3 scoops of this product per bottle. And then I may take some extra. And if I'm using a hydration pack, like I did on Saturday, that's 1,000 calories I had in that hydration pack. So that was 10 scoops of this in there. You're going to go through this product in no time if you're a true endurance athlete. As I mentioned before, if you're doing 2-hour rides, 3-hour rides, you're not really going to need this, right? This is not for those types of athletes. This is for people who, routinely do 2, 3, 4-hour rides, runs, canoeing, paddling, swimming. I've got 2 ultra swimmers using this product. And if you're an ultra swimmer, you've got a canoe going by you or next to you so that you have the race official or the person who's going to certify your world record or your swim, your Catalina swim or whatever. They're having to be in a boat next to you, or near you, I should say. And then you just reach out. One of your crew people hands you a bottle of this REV Energy product. You drink, you throw it back in the boat, and you keep going, right? So swimmers use this product. I've got a marathoner, multiple marathoners, I should say, but I've got a marathoner who just did his 12th marathon. He's 62 years old, and he used this product. Of course, cyclists and stuff. So the big thing is, if you're an endurance athlete, you're going to go through this container. You're going to go through it. So 200 calories is a serving, and there's 27 servings in one of these. So you can do the math, all right? If I do, 2 or 3 bottles, 2 or 3 times a week, how many servings is that? And then how long is this container going to last me? The other thing is, you can add this to anything. I add this sometimes to my morning coffee if I don't want to actually eat a breakfast meal. So one of my favorite breakfast meals when going out for an endurance event is eggs, like sunny side up, over a bed of rice, a little bit of maple syrup, some butter, and some salt. So I get all my macros, if you will, my fat, my protein, my carbs, and some sodium. But sometimes you don't have 2 to 3 hours before your event, and you don't have enough time to digest all of that. So I will put 2 scoops of this in my coffee. And as I showed you earlier, it'll just dissolve to nothing, right? There's your spoon, right? So it's completely clear. Oh, by the way, I can continue to put scoops in this glass, and it will continue to go clear. Oopsie. So that's 200 calories right there, and that's much smaller than a bottle of a bicycle bottle. So now this is 3 scoops that I've put in there, and I'm going to mix it just a little bit, and then we'll let it sit for a little bit while we continue our discussion, okay? So there it is. I've put 300 calories into, I don't know, this is about 14 ounces of water. So we're going to let that sit while we keep talking. So, as I mentioned, I sometimes will put 2 scoops of this in my coffee, so I get 200 calories, because each scoop is 100 calories. And I'm drinking my coffee. It doesn't change the flavor of my coffee. I mean, tiny bit of sweetness, but barely anything. And so now I have coffee that I'm going to drink anyway. I've got a couple of 100 calories. It's liquid. It's not a heavy protein type of meal, fat meal, like the one that I mentioned before with the eggs, the eggs, the rice, butter, and maple syrup and stuff. You know, that takes a little bit longer to digest. You feel the fullness, right? Because it's a physical amount of food in your stomach. So I do that. Now, the other thing about this is that it's so easy to clean your bottles when you're done riding. It's easy to clean your bottles. My hydration pack, I just basically ran hot water through the hydration pack. I pulled off the bike valve, so I could just run the water through the bladder, through the hydration, through the hose, and just kind of ran a little bit of water through there, and it was clean, right? So cleanup is super easy as well. Now here's the other objection I get. I get some folks that say, oh, but I already use this product and it works really well for me. Great. I'm glad you found something that works really well for you. Here's what you can do if you already use a product that you trust. Let's say you're using, I don't know, ABC product, and it gives you your carbs and your electrolytes or whatever you're using. You could just add a scoop of this into that. You've boosted up your carbs. You've also, you're using a product that is going to be easier to digest than what you're probably already using, but we'll leave that aside. That's why I created this thing, because, and I struggle with this word, osmolality, is really, really close to your own stomach. I'll read it to you real quick. Okay, so it has low osmolality. I'm sorry, like I said, I struggle with that word. Of only 200 to 220, which is lower than your body fluid osmolality of 280 to 300. That's why it's so easy to digest. That's why it's so easy to transport through your system. I think that's one of the biggest things that I need to convey to you folks. I'm not going to guarantee, because guaranteeing puts you in a lot of trouble sometimes, but I cannot foresee a situation where you will have GI issues with this product. It digests so easily that I just can't see how you would have any issues with this product. Now, I've told a lot of folks this as well. If you properly use this, you dose it properly. So in other words, oh, it didn't do anything for me, but you were only using 100 calories in each bottle. Yeah, it's not going to do anything for you. It's not enough calories. So you need to be at a minimum of 200, but depending on your effort level, you may need 250, 300 calories per hour or more, right? Because that's only 75 grams of carbs at 300 calories per hour. My math is not perfect, sorry, but just it's going to be somewhere right around there. So if you use it properly and you didn't mix in a bunch of other stuff that could have affected your stomach, I'll give you a full refund on the product. You don't have to worry about, oh, I'm stuck with this thing. No, send the unused portion back. I'll give you a refund. And more importantly, I could then use that for myself, or Jessica and I will use it. I'm bending down a lot because I want to make sure that my head is in the frame of the video. But yeah, Jessica and I will use it. But I could then have it as samples for my local people, right? That they were like, oh, I want to try it. Okay, you know, I have a container that I could just say, okay, well, here, let's put a couple of scoops in your bottle so you can go for your ride today and just see how you like it, you know, because generally speaking, I mean, I've never had anyone return it. I've never had anyone email me or text me and say, oh, I hated it. In fact, what happens almost all the time is, I'm sorry, that's my dryer upstairs telling me it's ready, clothes is ready. What happens, I mean, almost every time, they buy one container because, you know, oh, let me see, let me try it. I don't know, you know, I don't trust it just yet. Let me try. So they buy one container. Then they come back, they buy two. Then they come back a third time, but I'm already sold out. And so when the product comes back in, then they buy like 4 containers. So this happens all the time. And actually, yeah, so this is clear again, right? So, you know, there's 300 calories in this, I don't know, 14-ounce glass. Well, it's a 16-ounce, but it's not filled all the way. And it's completely dissolved. So, I don't know, this is just such a fantastic product. Not just because it's mine, but because I created it to be fantastic. Well, anyway, that is all for today. I really do want to hear from you folks. What are your objections so that I can cover them? And just throw them at me. Let's just see what comes up. And in the meantime, please like and subscribe. We'll see you up the road.